Welcome back to the Mildew Twang Outdoors podcast, where we chronicle our time spent in the Delta, the swamps, the piney woods, and beyond. Here, we share our experiences and stories, ranging from simple country living to lesser-known stories of American culture and what all of this means for us as Christians in today's world. In honor of turkey season, we have a very special episode. Our guest today is Mr. Blaine Chastang, a longtime family friend and mentor. I was blessed to grow up with his children, Braxton, Caitlin, and Fallon, and the stories we could tell you far exceed the time allotted for this little podcast show. The Chastangs have attended church with me since I was a young boy, and I love them as my own family. They are near and dear to my heart. You are in for a treat today, so sit back, relax, and let the crisp air and the songbirds surround you as we head off to the spring woods. All right, guys, today I have in this room, well, let's back up before I introduce you. One of them has a CB handle, and I can't quite remember what it is. Do you?
What, CB handle?
Your CB handle?
Oh, I had a bunch of them.
I thought there was one particular CB handle we used on the way to Wyoming years ago.
Oh, on the way to Wyoming. I don't remember
That's been a long. We're old. That's been a long time ago.
That was several years ago.
Yeah, many moons.
He could have been over the years. He could have been Nightstalker.
That's what it was.
Yeah,
Nightstalker.
there you go. That's it.
Nightstalker Productions is what it was.
Yeah. Could have been Saddle Tramp at one time. Me and my two brothers back. Everybody in High House Fork has a CB name. Everybody. I mean, years ago from the 1970s when that was, you didn't call everybody by their name. You called them by their CB handles. And there's a list that's been made by somebody in White House Forks, Alabama, and he's got everybody's name written down, and he'll pass it around. You'll see it on the internet every once in a while, and you add to it what they were. But our father, they called him Jesse James, and we were always either the James Gang or the Mustangs.
Yes, sir.
So if you said one, any of us would answer.
So did the creator of Dukes of Hazzard come from White House Fork?
No. I don't know nothing about Dukes of Hazzard. But
man.
But other than I enjoyed watching. Have you watched any of it? Have you went back and watched Dukes of Hazzard lately?
Oh, I've got it all on DVD.
It doesn't quite have the same effect when I'm almost 60 than it did when I was 13 and 13 or to 17 years old.
I wonder why.
I don't know. But, you remember then, Tim, when you were watching, you thought that was the best production out there. I mean, it was great.
It was.
The story was great. The car chase was great. I mean, everything. I mean, it was just like, wow. You look at it now and you say, man, was that shot with a handheld camcorder and three guys from they met down there at the Dollar General store? I mean, but at that time it was best thing since sliced bread.
You'd still love to have that car, wouldn't you?
Oh my Lord! Do you know the number of cars they wrecked was unbelievable? I mean, they had to start looking and not begging, but they had to go out and find other cars because they just kept destroying them.
That's why it's so valuable. It's worth so much now. You can't find one. They wrecked them all.
What was it? Was it a 1971 Dodge Challenger? Is that what it was?
I think so. Yeah.
I think it was. I don't know what year model, but I think it was a 71 Dodge Challenger. What they said they were always using, plus the police cars and everything else.
Yes, sir. Well, here, right quick. So now we got a quick introduction there, kind of a backstory.
We just started talking, didn't we?
Yeah, Mr. Nightstalker, tell us your real name, and we'll go from there.
You know my name. It's Blaine Chastang from.
Yeah, Mr. Blaine, you're famous worldwide, I hear.
Yeah, famous in this room, maybe.
All right, so Nightstalker, and we got Papa Nichols again. I don't know if you've heard that, Mr. Blaine.
Now, is that because of the grandbaby?
No, I think my beard turned white about 20 years ago, and the kids just started calling me Papa Nick or Papa Nichols. It's something to do with some TV show y'all were watching too,
Yeah, it's been
right?
years. There's a TV show that came on when we were kids called Drake and Josh, and there was an old granddaddy on that show that was all for USA, an old retired Army guy. He was crazy, literally crazy on the show. He'd run around and scream USA, USA, and chase the kids through the house. And
I can see Tim being that.
Yeah, that comedy. So we started picking on him, but he never knew the origin of it. So
what is your granddaddy name? since you've got a grandbaby?
Just Papa Nick, Papa. I mean, I don't care.
Whatever he calls you is what you'll be.
That's right. You know, I've never really cared what anybody calls me. I mean,
No, you like me. It don't matter what you call me. Don't call me late for supper.
that's right.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
Now I'm sure Miss Michelle's got a name she wants, or
Nana-
the name she won't stay away from.
Nana Bell.
Nana Bell.
That's a pretty name. Well, let's get into some stories here. As you hopefully well know, it's time for the season of the turkey.
Pursuit of the elusive longbeard.
Mr. Blaine, you have a few stories, and Dad, you have a story about the devil turkey, the devil tom, or I forget what you call him.
Oh, it's definitely the devil turkey. But, you know, we'll let Mr. Blaine tell us a story or two first.
Well, mine ain't. I don't really know how to get started with this, but have you ever been around a bunch of guys that especially the old turkey hunters, the professionals, or at least the ones that talk a lot about turkey hunting? You know, I'll confess, I'm not a real good turkey hunter. Matter of fact, I'm not very good at nothing.
Oh, man, I don't believe that.
But no. But now, when I do go turkey hunting, I'm the designated shooter. I let Brent Pelham do the calling, and I'll do the spot, and so we work it out, and
Hey, real quick, Brent and Pelham are your brothers, right?
yeah, they're my brothers, they're my younger brother, and they're better turkey callers than I am. Stay in your own lane, no sense competing against each other, just kind of work together, and we do a good job. But anyway, son Braxton, nephew Austin, they pretty good with it, and so I don't need to be a good turkey caller. I just need to know where they're at. So and don't have the time to go a lot, but you've been around those older men, those older guys that professional. They are professional storytellers, especially, or make it up. There was just one guy I know. He kept talking about, but he was baiting somebody. Here's what he was doing. He kept talking about. He knew this place where there was just such a big bird that we had several people that could hunt this area, but he kept talking about this certain piece of tract of land over there. And he said, there was a turkey over there. He said, at first, I thought he was a one-legged turkey.
A one-legged turkey.
A one-legged turkey, because he said he only left one track.
Huh.
And he said he finally figured out why he did. He got around and got to see him one day. He said, just going over the hill there, he saw him. He said his beard was so long, he'd have to hold that beard in his one leg and hop. So he wasn't leaving two tracks. He was just hopping.
Oh, man.
So he said that. He kept talking about that hopping turkey, holding that beard. And this other guy kept saying, well, I can kill him. He said, well, then he disappeared on him. He said, turkey got smart. Next year, he said, we're going to go over and get him. No tracks. They finally saw him. He walked backwards and was sweeping the tracks out with his beard. His beard was so long, he was sweeping it out. So it wasn't nothing. There was no tracks for that bird.
Man.
Okay. So this guy, he kept talking about that. And, there's always that one guy that says, you know what, I'm probably the best turkey caller around. I can call him across a creek. I can call him across a property line or anywhere. Well, now keep that in the back pocket. Jay, you don't remember this probably. Tim, you were around, don't know what you were doing. But in the early 90s, somebody was sitting around one day looking in their farm and said, I got an emu over here. I got to do something with this emu. So he decided this is the ultimate pyramid scheme. Right behind Social Security, the ultimate pyramid scheme is emu eggs.
Huh.
At one time, emu was going to be the meat that was going to save the world. It was supposed to be good for you, and they were people actually they were syndicating eggs. I have a friend, I won't call his name because he'd be plumb embarrassed that he got suckered in this. He said, man, I've got so many dollars in these eggs, and I'm all this, and we're going to sell this and that. I said, the only person making money off this is a guy selling y'all this plan and these eggs. But I mean, there were people buying eggs and selling and raising emus everywhere. Well, there was no place to sell them, and it didn't work. It didn't pan out like they were projected to. So you had people Now, there's another story about an emu that's pretty doggone funny. Maybe it's another day, another time. But this story was this guy. People just had these emus, and they were just throwing them. They were killing them. They were trying to eat them, trying to get rid of them, or just do anything they can with them. Well, this one gentleman we know, he knew some emus that was fit to be disposed of. You can train an emu to come to feed, just like a chicken. I mean, Tim, you got chickens, and yeah. So you could cluck them up, and you hear bitty, whatever. Or you can go out there and you keep them in a pretty small, confined area, and every time you throw that feed out, you take that turkey yupper, and you start hitting it like a hen. And you can train an emu to come to a sound, and he's going to come for feed. So what you can do, you can take this emu and get him fed up pretty strong, where he's going to come. Where they're going to come crashing to that sound. You may be able to find somebody that has a horse and cut a big old swath of horsetail off and wrap it.
Hang it on the front of an emu?
And hang it around the emu's neck and make it look like a turkey with a big old beard on it. And you may be able to take it and get real close to where somebody's going to be hunting one morning. And if everything works out right, you could turn that emu loose, and he will go through anything. He'll hear it, and he's going to go to that sound. He's looking for that corn or that feed, that scratch, whatever you've been feeding him. And you're being in the woods hunting, and you hear an armadillo, but you think it's a herd of elephants coming through the woods. Yep. Can you imagine an emu, 25, 30-pound emu coming barreling through all that underbrush, just ain't saying a word now, just coming.
Right, no gobble.
No gobble, just coming. And when it breaks through, you got something standing there that big, and just say that this guy that is the world's greatest hunter, turkey hunter, happens to be a preacher.
Oh, no.
So when he comes back and tells everybody, you won't believe what happened. You think the preacher's lying. But you can honestly train an emu to go to a turkey call if you do that.
I like that.
So you just, it takes a lot of time and effort. Not a lot, but you just got to feed them up good. And but that went on in the 90s. I mean, it was if you go back and I don't know, Tim, where y'all I don't know, were y'all living here in the 90s or were y'all still in Mississippi?
No, we were in Missouri then.
Missouri, okay. I don't know. But anyway, there was a big syndicate. There was a big push for emus. Big push for emus to be raised.
Yeah, I do remember that.
And but it just like, I mean, it was, honest to goodness, it's probably one of the biggest pyramid schemes I've ever heard of in my life.
How do you fit an emu in an oven?
I don't know. I reckon you have to cut the breast out. That'll take you over to my next story about the emu. Same situation. Guy's got all these emus. He got a ton of them. Matter of fact, at one time they were trying to serve emu meat at Stagecoach because
really,
yeah,
up in Stockton,
Joyce was and they would cook it. So I was over at this one gentleman's house one afternoon, and he had a real nice horse trailer. He and his family used to come rope with us and all that. And I'm standing there looking, talking to him, and I look up at his trailer and I said, "Holy cow! There's a hole in the side of his." He had a 4-horse slant metal trailer, and I seen a hole in it. I didn't really say nothing. I just kind of looked up at it. The trailer was pretty new. I knew when he got it. I looked at that trailer. I said, "What in the world?" And I looked down the side there, and I saw another hole, but it wasn't really a hole. It was more of a gash. I said, and finally I had to ask him. I said, "Hey, Alvin, what's up with this trailer? What happened?" He said, "It makes me so blasted mad." He said, "You remember how all them emus I was going to make all that money on?" I said, "Yeah. I remember y'all having all that, making all that money on emus." He said, "Well, and we trying to get rid of them, throw them away, kill them." He said, "I took them up here to," I'm not going to call the guy's name, but he had a little deer process, a little meat processing plant. He used to be a butcher and all that. He said, "I took him up there and going to let him butcher them and maybe going to sell some of it to somebody, just get the breast off of it. And I asked him, I said, hey, you want me to help you kill them? No, I'll just leave them in the trailer. I'll get them later. Well, he left, and they just parked the trailer there. Well, that knucklehead went out there and took a 22. No, I don't know if it, surely it was 22. Anyway, it was a rifle. He took a rifle out there and poked it up in that trailer and shot that first emu in the head. When you shoot one, the first one, they all stand there looking at you like this. You ain't shooting the rest of them. I mean, he said that he shot that trailer up. There was 3 or 4 holes in that trailer where that guy shot that trailer up, shooting them emus in that trailer. And I thought, my Lord, and then one of them got out and got run down the road, and they had to shoot. I mean, it was a mess. But I told Alvin, I said, he said, I was mad. I said, how do you shoot up a trailer full of emus? but it was, I mean, emu head ain't very big.
No.
I mean, about like a golf ball moving around out there, but he shot them up. So, so be careful when you're turkey hunting. If it don't make a noise, it's coming at you, and it's got a big old beard. It's probably somebody's emu somebody set you up on.
The elusive wild American emu has been known to roam the bottomlands and piney woods throughout the southeast. It's better that y'all leave the dangerous art of turkey hunting to the experts. Now, guys, we're close to the halfway point in our show, and I'm interrupting to ask a favor from you folks. Our goal here at Mildew Twang Outdoors is to share our lives with you, to make you smile and remember the important things in life, and most importantly, to share the love of Christ and the wonderful salvation He has given to us by His death, burial, and resurrection. By His sacrifice, we can have a relationship with Him, and consequently, we can have eternal life. I urge you to try and share this show with at least one person in your life this week, not for our benefit, but for the benefit of the Lord, with the intent of sharing Christ and His gospel message. I feel that this podcast is a wonderful opportunity to reach folks in our world who may not otherwise see Christ or hear His gospel, the good news. Thank you for letting me interrupt this show. Now let's get back to our story.
What'd you get done on turkey hunt, Tim? What are you talking about? Your ghost devil turkey.
Oh, the devil turkey. All right, I'm going to ask you about another turkey hunt here in a little bit too. No, about a year ago I retired. Right at a year ago I retired from the Corps.
Yeah, March 22nd or 23rd.
That's
there
right.
you are bragging again.
That's right. Just tells you how old I am. And I retired on a Friday. I think that Saturday was opening.
I think it was March 24th.
I think it was. Is that right?
Today's the 26th.
So anyway, we like to get up and go to church on Sunday. This was the first Sunday after I retired. Well, Jay and I run up to Stockton real quick before church to go kill a turkey. And so we're up there, and we get there before daylight. We ease off in the woods, and about 6:45 or so, he starts gobbling. We work our way down there to him. I'd already killed one opening day. This was the next day, I guess. And so it was Jay's turn to kill this turkey, and I'm just there. So we ease off toward the turkey, and he starts answering the call. And by now we worked him for an hour and a half.
Well, we got on one. I think we got on one early, and we tried to work him, and he went off somewhere else, went off property lines maybe. And we couldn't get back on another one. We almost gave up, didn't we? And we were walking back out calling.
I don't know.
But
anyway,
yeah.
Well, with this one, we worked for an hour and a half. And again, it's Sunday morning. Church starts at 9:30.
You watch the clock, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. But Jay was watching it a lot harder than I was.
Well, it was a struggle because I was watching my clock and watching a turkey.
Right. And we're set up on the side of a hill. Jay and I are about 5 yards apart. The turkey's probably 20, 30 yards off in the bottom. And Jay says, Dad. I said, what? I'm going to crawl down there. Well, I knew the second he starts crawling, it's over. I said, what are you doing? And in the meantime, I'm texting my wife. I'm telling her, hey, doesn't look like we're going to make church today. I mean, it's 8:45. We've been on this turkey an hour and a half.
And you got to get from there to there.
That's right. I got to drive 25 minutes just to get to church. And, we're covered in mud and camo and all that good stuff. And, you don't walk in this church looking like that. But I get a return text from my wife that says, you got to be there. Jay darn well knows that. And I'm like, well, that's unusual. I've never gotten a response like that from her. I mean, yeah, it's important. We go to church. In the meantime, I'm telling Jay, don't move. We got time. We got time. And anyway, Jay didn't listen. He takes off crawling. He took about, I don't know, he may have crawled about 5 feet, and we never heard that gobble again. It was gone. So we head out to the pole barn, and I take a quick water hose shower, wash my hair, get dressed, and I guess it was probably about 9:20 before we left there, headed to church. we go walking in church, and my wife and every one of my kids and then daughter-in-laws are sitting on the front row.
You got to walk all the way to the front.
That's right. And I'm like, my gosh, nobody told me they were all coming. They all came to church with us because of my retirement. So,
oh, mercy. So that's why she wanted you to make sure you was there.
That's right. That's why Jay knew darn well we couldn't miss church.
I tell you, I was the most aggressive.
What you should have done, Jay, what you should have done was just shot your gun about 30 minutes earlier so y'all could you run him off, and that way, you wouldn't have tipped your hand to your dad.
Yeah,
that's right.
I should have. Looking back on it, I could have done different things, but I've never called so aggressively to a turkey. I mean, I was literally. I mean, the little diaphragm call, the mouth call, it sounded like an elk, like. And that turkey was gobbling at everything. And I could see him, and Dad said 25, 30 yards. I could see him through the yopon. And we had a burn done last year, so everything was burned out. But I was looking through 20 yards of brush. I still debate whether I should have killed him or not. I think I would have killed him, but my pattern wasn't as dense as I wanted it to be to shoot through that much stuff. So
shoot TPS, what were you shooting?
That was. Well, that at that time it was a TSS, that TSS stuff, but it was a factory load, and it wasn't great. I since have started hand loading those. If you have a 20 gauge, I'll get you set up. But the hand loads, that bird would have been dead at 45, 50 yards. But no, last year, I don't know, Mama. I've never seen Mama so angry in my life, and I've had her put me in my place.
Yeah, she wasn't very happy.
Yeah, but you got there, see?
Oh, yeah, we made it. We got there about 9:45. We got there before the preaching started.
Yeah, before the preaching, after the singing is perfect.
Easy, killer.
All right, so question for you, and I don't know if you're comfortable telling this one or not, but Blaine's dad was a man's man, James Chastang. And, I loved him to death, and your mama Mary too. But, up until your dad passed away, I'm betting if he'd have told you or Brent or Pelham to drop down and give him 20, y'all would have dropped down and gave him 20.
Probably would have. I tried anyway.
So I remember him telling a story about shooting a turkey out there one day, years and years ago. So I don't think there's any harm can come from it.
I think we are past the
the 7 years or whatever it is.
Yeah. So I think we're safe to talk about.
So can you share that story with us?
I mean, now. We're going back a long time now.
Back before there were any turkeys.
Yes. You see, I'm trying to think. I was probably 12. Brent was probably 9 or 10, and Pelham was probably 6. But not far from the house there was on Cotton Stretch, pretty open right there, big cornfields, and I wish I can remember. Well, I'll tell you why I can remember. I wish I can remember the distance when this is all said and done with. But we're up and down the road every day. And every once in a while you see a turkey. Out there. Well, the corn had been planted, and it was probably about ankle high, just sprouted up. Well, Dad had came to he came to Bay Minette to pick us up from school, and he met us there. And on the way up there, he had told us he had run into a couple of friends of ours, run into mishap Larry Wise. His CB handle is still this day. I can talk. I call him Mishap. He'll say, "Hey," so Mishap said, "Hey, did y'all see that big gobbler up there?" He said, "Where?" He said, "Right there at the first gate in that cornfield. Where you at? It's on the stretch." Daddy said, "No, I didn't see it." He said, "Well, let me tell you what. He's big. He's right there." Well, Daddy, he gets that information in Birmingham. He picks us up. He's telling us coming down the road. We coming down the road and we see out there, hey, look at that bird out there. Daddy said, "I tell you what, boys, let's run to the house here." So he runs to the house and comes back out, and we're all in the car, all in the truck. He brings a pillow and a 1917 military 30-06 with peep sights on it. That's what he brings. So we get up there. Now the bird has moved further. He's not as close as he was when they saw him. When Mishap saw him, he was even. But when we saw him, he was further back in the field. But we get there now. We jump back in there. He's pretty far distance there. And there's this turkey out there. Well, Daddy just gets out, pulls up in the gate there, puts the pillow up on the hood of the gun, the car, throws that rifle across there. He takes that peep sight and he just picks it up like he knew what he was doing. And we all sitting and watching him, looking at him like, wow. He squeezes off, and when he does, bird goes up about 10 foot and dirt goes up about 20. Just, he comes down and just takes off running, whoom, back out of the field. That'll be John Brown. Shot right below his feet. So he's standing there and he's getting back in. We look at the farthest point of that field. He comes back out. That bird's got a death wish. Comes back out. Now, I mean, the whole time, and none of us could spell the word binoculars. Nobody even had a scope or binoculars. We just looking across. We just
You seeing a black dot over there with feathers on it.
Exactly. Thing comes back out there. He gets back out, puts that gun there, and he told us, he said, when I got him in my sight, through a peep, I don't know if you ever shot through an iron sight, yes, but through a peep sight, he said, I picked it up where I couldn't see him.
Wow.
He said, I could not, when I picked him up, the front of the rifle sight hit him completely. He squeezed off that 30-06. Now, you imagine what a 30-06 is going to do to him. We didn't have a clue. Out went the lights. That thing went to flopping around, and we look at it, and Dad said, get out and go get him. So me and Brent take off. Pelham's trying to keep, I don't know if Pelham was running with us, but me and Brent get there, and he's flopping around just like crazy. And Daddy's sitting up he's on the fence up there. We start throwing dirt clods at him, take a belt off, and he got a big old cowboy buckle, beating him in the head and all that. We didn't know what to do. I mean, we were young kids. I finally get that thing up, and we come back across that field, and Daddy hollers, hey, boys, how big is beard? I said, ain't got no beard, Daddy. It's a hen. Oh, my gosh. He jumps in the truck and cranks off and drives off.
Well, y'all out in the field with
walking
the turkey.
Across this field. And what it is, he went up the road, turned around to come back. So we jumped in the truck. He come by and picked us up. And we go back home. And now he calls Mishap, and he brings Pee Wee up there. And they come around there, and he said, hey, Pee Wee, he said, Pee Wee, you pretty good at sighting in a rifle? He said, I don't know if I'm good. They say I'm the best. So he said, Daddy said, could you sight this rifle in for me? He said, that rifle they got in the sighting, James, is just old military, just a peep sight, iron sight with a peep on it. He said, yeah, but the problem is, when I was shooting at this turkey, he said, wait a minute, you shot that turkey with that rifle? He said, yep. I was aiming at his eye, and it dropped a little bit. And I'm telling y'all, he clipped him in the neck.
Good.
He clipped him in the neck. He just about missed him as he did kill him. And that's what it didn't touch a feather, didn't touch a hair,
didn't hurt the breast,
nothing. He clipped his neck, just about took his head off. And he said, I was aiming for his eye, Pee Wee. Pee Wee said, He's pretty good. Don't mess with him. But he did. He shot that thing, and that's probably the most out of character thing he ever done in his life. We got caught up. He said he never even questioned looking because they said it was a big old gobbler.
Yeah.
It probably was the first one, and we think it might have been she may have just walked out there, wrong place, wrong time.
Yeah. Because she ate good, didn't she?
Oh, you couldn't, yeah. But so you've heard that story, obviously.
I think your dad told me one time.
Then statute of limitations passed.
That's
we
what
good.
it is. Yep, that's it.
That's what it is, yeah. But he that sure did. Now and we still have that 1917 Army issued 30-06 with those peep sights on him. He would carry that hunting with him. I mean, he believed in it, and it was a heck of a gun with a heck of a story, a heck of a man. Here's the story. It was a long way. That's what I said. He said it was a long way. We've always assumed it's because he went back and stepped it off 250 to 300 yards, but we know where he was at. And like he said, we need to take the range finder and go up and shoot it before we all forget where it was at, because we still have that property. We still have access to it. And but it was every bit of 250, probably close to 300. And so that's going to be our official story till we get it straight. You know what? Ain't nobody going to disagree with it.
All right, so Blaine, I mentioned earlier about your dad being a manly man. I also know he was a Christian man, and your mom and dad both were really godly people. Yeah. Did they drag you and your brothers to church like my mom and dad drug me to church?
Yeah, I reckon we had a drug problem. Yeah, but no, but we didn't fight them. I mean, you know what? I thank them for doing that, because that's well, you like me or not, that's who I am, because of them.
Yep.
But you said the word godly. A lot of, we had this discussion the other day in Sunday school. Somebody start talking about, well, he's a good Christian boy. Well, what you mean a good Christian boy? Is there such thing as a bad Christian boy? I mean, we say that, but everybody wants to. Or I heard one time somebody said, "Look, if somebody ever says that my daughter's dating this guy, he's a good Christian boy, run." That's kind of like, but he said, what you want somebody godly. And like what you just said, yes, they are Christians. We all are. But it's the godly pursuit is what they had, okay? Were they perfect? No. Are we perfect? No. But nobody in this room is perfect, but we're all forgiven.
Yeah.
I mean, thank goodness we thank goodness that, it's here we are Easter week. And the reason, we aren't perfect, but we are forgiven.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
And that's one of the biggest, of all the stories, all the enjoyable times, and and all the things we've done, hunting or camping or fishing or anything. That is great, and those are great memories. But the fact that we are forgiven and we have Jesus Christ is our Lord and Savior, and He is risen, sets us apart from every other so-called deity or religion out there.
Amen.
But yeah, so
it kills me too, because I think now this is just me. It seems like most worldly people don't think you can be a Christian or godly person and still have a good time, but
you can.
Life is a blast.
Well, you should be able to have a better time because your salvation's secure.
Right.
And that'll give you license to be stupid. But we
if you don't have hope in Jesus Christ, what do you have hope in?
Nothing. Can you imagine? And I would hate to know that I face this world not having that hope, because it's pretty tough to face it with that.
Oh, it is.
That, and sometimes we all kind of get like, hey, we gotta get this bird. Or, I'm watching this deer. I heard my neighbor kill that deer. I've been watching. well, I get all bent out of shape, but really in the big picture, what's that matter?
Right.
I mean, this is all temporary. Mm-hmm. And God put us here to be stewards of it and take care of it and enjoy it.
Yes, sir.
But use it. Don't let it become our little God.
Right. Our idol.
Yeah. Or don't, but he's a great hunter. Well, yeah, if that's all they know you for, they don't know you for much. But, it's the fact that they know you, that your personality and your ways will lead them, you may be the only God, the only thing about God they see that day.
Yeah.
So, that's what you'll be known for. Yeah. And thank goodness everybody forgives us and forgets us.
Yeah.
Because, I'd hate to know that, they don't, thank goodness God forgives us. And thank goodness people forget what we've done right or wrong, and mostly wrong, or how we were or are. And but Jay, you're doing a great job here with this, and I hope you reach people, and maybe somebody that don't know what we know will reach out to you, or find somebody that will help them.
Yes, sir.
Just find something.
Yeah.
And look, y'all been out there as much as I have, probably even more. Late in the afternoon or early in the morning. You just look around and say,
Oh, yeah.
how can all this just be happenstance? God put this here.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful. And, you can have a moment of worship right there in the middle of 1,000 acres, as you can right in the middle of a congregation in a church service.
Yep.
You may have a better one there.
Yeah.
You may have, the natural sounds.
Yeah, I do have to admit, now that gobbler was preaching that Sunday morning, that devil bird. He was preaching.
He was laying it on you, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's just one of those things you just got to do. I tell you, this is a pretty neat deal. Hope it works out for you. Hope it does good for you, and hope you get some. Look, here's the thing about it. You start at the bottom right here with somebody like me. You got one way to go with us up, buddy. That's one way to go but up.
What a remarkable man and a true friend. Thank you, Mr. Blaine, from the bottom of my heart. I sure hope you folks enjoyed his stories as much as I did. Now, what you couldn't see during this show were the tears streaming down my face and laughter as he talked about the other white meat, the emu. I had to bury my face in a towel in order to hide my laughter, and for that reason I didn't talk quite as much as I normally would in these shows. But it was an honor and a blessing to have you here. You also couldn't see firsthand the brotherly love that we share, but I do hope that we were able to bring a smile to your face and warm your heart just a little bit. As you heard in the first half of the show, please be careful in those turkey woods. You never know what might pop out of the brush. In fact, it may be better that you call us and let us hunt your place so that we can keep you safe and keep you away from the wicked emu birds. Just kidding, just kidding. Now, regarding James Chastang, Blaine, Brent, and Pelham's father, I had the privilege of knowing him firsthand. He was as tough as they come, and he loved the Lord more than any other person that I've known. His humility, his love, his graciousness, and the sacrifices that he made for his family and his friends will never be forgotten. Likewise, I will never forget the nights that I spent at his house with Braxton, nor will I forget him having to cut my shirt tail for missing a squirrel in the river swamp on a youth hunt. Your family, Mr. Blaine, is a blessing to me and my own, and we love you all dearly. Thank you for tuning into this week's show. I challenge you to share these stories with one person this week. Consider it a wonderful opportunity to begin a gospel conversation. And remember that some of the legwork has been done and it's laid out for you in our shows. Our goal is to reach others for Christ and to show them just how special it is and how important it is to love Him and to understand our salvation through the blood of Jesus Christ. Thank you for your continued support. Love in Christ.